So this video is on attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I chose this because I'm at a small private school where we don't have many students with any type of disability other than disabilities like attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And I had one particular student in mind when I chose to explore this disability. I have begun using the instructional strategy of breaking the learning into small steps for this student. The source is my personal experience, and then I found a website at understood.org that has a really nice, simple way to break the learning up into small steps and some guidelines. And so literally what I wanted to do is in the video, I changed the name of my student, and then on the test that I'm going to bring closer to the camera, I covered her name. But Monica is a student in my geometry class who has been diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety disorders. And in the past, this child has gotten very anxious during test taking. A lot of times feels like she's stupid. She can't do the work. She was always the last one to finish test. She would constantly come to my desk and ask me questions that I really couldn't answer because that would give her too much help on a test. And so when she went back for another evaluation, she was diagnosed with the ADHD with anxiety disorder. And this allowed us to begin giving her extended time. So her IEP tells us to give her extended time, and also it suggested breaking apart her assessments. And so this is an example. This is actually one of her tests from this past quarter, and this is a geometry test. And you can probably tell on here that she's got some little drawings that she's done. She's done some reasoning around the side. She has ways of ways she's marked it and all. I gave her only this first page at first, and I told her she had a set amount of time to finish just the first page. And then with the next page, I literally, you can see, cut it into two pieces. So this is the second page, and here's her third page. Everyone else in the class took this and both of these together. That was one piece of paper that I literally cut in half for her. Along with giving her the extended time and breaking it apart, she takes her test, and she's asked to take her test in a small, private kind of office area, so it's quiet for her. And her grades have really improved, and her confidence level has really improved since we started doing this. This has allowed her to talk out loud through her reasoning process with the problems that are on the test, because she's not in the classroom with the students, and because she is on an extended time. So she may do the first page of a test during her regular class time, and then in her study hall, which happens to coincide with my planning period, she would be working on another section. And so she could come to me, and I wouldn't give her answers, but she just allowing her to talk out the problem a lot of times helped her to see where she might have an error in her reasoning. And so that's been really good, breaking apart for her. The website that I found had some steps to consider when working with students with attention or information processing disorders. It suggests begin by reviewing the last lesson, present the new material into small steps, which is called chunking, ask questions and have the students explain their reasoning, provide models of whatever concept that you are working on, look for misconceptions and address them early, and review what has just been taught. All of these considerations and steps are things I've been doing anyway in my geometry classes, especially the one where I ask questions and I have them explain their reasoning. If a student can explain their reasoning and they know why they're doing the problem the way they are, but happen to make a small computational error, then I know the error is not in their geometry understanding. It's in an inattention to detail. And so this is really good for me to do some assessments, more informal assessments, more formative assessments during the class period, and finding out where some misconceptions are. And the student that we're talking about sits right in the front, in the center, and I have her paired with a partner that has been able to help her throughout the process when I'm not able to answer a question, and that's been good for her too. Other strategies to consider would be video or audio recordings, like what I'm doing right now. This is using my Swivl camera, and I'll talk about it again in one of my other instructional strategies. A lot of times students will ask me, Ms. Mangum, can you make a swivel of what you worked on today so I can watch it again? Um, that's where I have the Swivl right here. Allow students to take assessments orally. At my other school, I did a lot of this where I would have the student tell me what they would write and write it for them because they had a disconnect between what was going on in their mind and what they were trying to get on their paper. Instead of having them write the steps down, can they tell me how they would do the problem? Again, same type of concept with having to go from their brain to their hand. And that is the instructional strategy that I chose for ADHD.